Okay, I'm starting on the engine repairs, and right now I'm just focusing on the infamous spark plugs of these cars. I've cracked them loose. I've moved all the wiring harness out of the way, mostly, and I've cracked them loose, and I've given them a liberal dose of penetrating oil. They seem okay. There's a good chance that he actually did replace the spark plugs on this car. I'm gonna find out. I know that it does have the 9/16 inch spark plugs, and I know that the better replacement ones are 5/8. So I'm just hopeful that I don't run into any problems, because then this becomes a whole different repair and not just upgrading with all go fast stuff. It's gonna be from what I understand, that's a pain. So I'm gonna be very careful removing the spark plugs, and I've got them loose, oiled. Let that sit for a minute or two, and then I'm gonna tighten them a little bit, and then I'm gonna loosen them back out a little bit further, and I'm just gonna kind of keep doing that, and I think it should come out. I've seen several videos where that's how they do it, so I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. Loosened up pretty good. I'm trying to see if I can do it just by finger. I'm just backing it out until I feel a little resistance, and then I twist it back in. I think this one's going to be okay. I didn't have a 9/16 spark plug socket. I had to use a regular socket. And I do have some Brisk plugs coming. Okay, I think that's good. Now I just need a pair of needle nose pliers to pull that out. Okay, that's one. Doesn't look bad. If you look at them, I think those are a one-piece design. I think. No, they're two-piece. You can see. they don't look heavily carboned up. There's a little bit of carbon on there. I feel a little bit of drag. This one actually feels better than the first one did. This one looks pretty clean, honestly. A little bit of debris in the threads a little bit there, but it doesn't look carboned up at all. I don't think I would have replaced them with the stock ones, but maybe I'll get lucky here. My opinion is just go by feel. If you feel any resistance at all, stop and tighten it back up. That one's got a tiny bit, but still not bad. I'm kind of hitting this with a little bit more confidence now that I've seen the plugs looking a little bit better. And that one's also not bad. I'm going to have to remove the radiator. Hopefully I can remove the fan, shroud assembly, and the radiator all at once. Is that supposed to be like that? Seems weird that that would be all open. Seems like it should have some kind of cover on it, but I'm not a Ford guy, I have no idea. I have to obviously drain the radiator out. definitely going to be some water coming out of the front here. I'm going to do the timing chains at the same time I do the cams and the intake and the cold air. Just removing the mass airflow sensor. I'm going to take all this off. This is all getting replaced anyways, so it doesn't need to be on there. Which means that I'm going to leave that all as one unit and just take it off right here. Same with the intake and throttle body. I'm going to leave that all as one unit. Pull that off all at once. And then I can just rob any parts off of them that I need, like perhaps the mass airflow sensor. I might need to take that off and whatnot. This will take off here. Make sure I got all my wires loose. I'm going to harbor a guess that that thing's basically never been off the car. Just moving that around. Opening up some space there. I need that out anyways because I'm changing the color of the car and I want to have a lot of the stuff out of the way so I can paint in here. So I got to finish that up. The next thing to do, remove this intake manifold. Move that away. And talk about destroying it. I don't know where that actually goes to, but I'll lay that there for now. Just removing the cam sensor here. So that's all loose. No shortage of clips for the wires. This, I think I can put over there for now. I have no idea if that's going to be okay right there. And get to all the valve cover bolts, which I think are 8mm. Before I go much further, I'm going to drain the pressure out of the fuel system. Not getting anything come out. Try to screw out. That one's loose. Already. Not really sure why. Actually, it looks like I can pull that whole thing out and not have to worry about the fuel rails until after it's off. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I just figured it'd be out of the way, but actually looks like there's plenty of room. Being that it's plastic, I assume that it's going to be fairly low. Yeah, that's not too bad. As you can see, the wiring harness is still in the way. It's a little snug. Doesn't seem to be any real consistency here. Luckily, the Ford Performance intake manifold comes with new hardware. Okay, while you guys were taking a cool down break, mandated necessary by the folks at GoPro, I went ahead and disconnected all the wires. And also, that plug right here that I was having problems with, apparently it's not a pry open, it's a push down. Push down on it, and then it wiggles loose. So do not pry on that, it's not the proper way. But I think I've got basically everything ready to come loose. Except I need to do the fuel rail here, and that we will use one of these. Had these forever. They work for some of the older air conditioning. Well, I have even the new air conditioning lines. They work for the air conditioning lines. How they do it is go in there, push them in there, and there's a spring. See the spring looped around in there, and it releases the spring, and then you can release the fitting. You just got to get the right size There. You're going to get a little bit of fuel leaking off out of there. But don't be surprised by that. Okay. Now I'm going to do coils. And then the spark plugs after that. Coils, I believe, are 7mm. And they shouldn't be very tight. They should basically break right loose. Yeah. One. Some days don't even feel like they're in there all the way. The car ran good. Give me my socket back. For some reason that bolt came stuck. All else fails, bang your expensive sockets and ratchets on the ground. Got a little baggie going for the coil bolts, but I believe that's probably on the other side. Let's see manifold bolts. Loose. Wire harness clip on top of the bolt. To it. There. Just in case somebody decides to put the original intake manifold back on it for whatever reason, everything's going to be bagged and tagged. Okay, so there's actually some hidden bolts. I'm sure you can see the head of that bolt. So on these intake manifolds, if you look for the reliefed spot that's right in the center of where the fuel rail is, you're going to have to take the fuel rail off. And the injectors will pop out kind of hard, but they will pop out. Just kind of work at it a little bit and they'll pop out. And then you have these two bolts here that you have to loosen. And then you also have a vacuum line that you got to disconnect. And then this kid told me that this car sat for about a year after he bought it in his garage or barn or wherever. I believe him, because that's a mouse nest right there. Now luckily it does not look like anything has been chewed on, and the car ran great, so that's not a problem. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to get rid of that, because I would say that that's probably a fire hazard. I mean, the engine doesn't get cherry red hot to catch anything on fire, but still, I don't think you want that on your engine. There's two clips on this. There's two clamps. Okay, so the clamps are apparently pointless, but yeah. That's what the back of your intake manifold looks like. There's a whole mess of stuff back there. I'm not 100% sure what it does. It's like, oh, I see. So this right here is your motor for those valves that are underneath inside there. Yeah. Interesting. Now I'm going to use these cheap dollar store latex gloves to clean off that mouse nest, because you never know what those things carry around. You don't want to be cleaning this stuff up and then rubbing your face or whatever. Now, I'm going to put you guys on pause while I do the spark plugs on this side. Since you've already seen me do one side, I'm sure it's going to be boring to watch me do both sides. So, the two center spark plugs on this side weren't even torqued in. They were completely loose. Like, I went to loosen them up and expecting some kind of tension there, and they literally just weren't even, I didn't even have to bust them loose. They just spun by hand, no problem. Which is surprising for the way this car ran. It ran good. It was running really good. But yeah, make sure you torque your spark plugs, people. Well, as you can see, I got the valve covers off. I was able to loosen the oil dipstick tube, and then the valve cover came right out. I barely had to move it around to get it to come out away from that. Now I still got to spin this thing around so it's top dead center. I got my floating screwdriver. It's a magical floating screwdriver that I'm going to use to see when my number one piston is up the top. So I'm getting ready to do that right now. I'm going to let you guys watch the screwdriver. Let you guys watch it magically levitate. Ooh, magical. Going down, going down. Ooh, here it comes. Ooh, now it's going back down. Let's see where our timing marks are on. Okay, I see right and left sitting at the top. Let me use direction just to there. I'm going to call that top dead center. Right there, I think. As you can see, or can't see maybe, there's my timing marks. There's the left side and the right side. Work towards getting that front cover off and doing all that. Now is a good time since I got to replace the crank pulley and the water pump pulley. And I don't know if the timing chains have ever been done on this car. Now it doesn't feel. I got a little play on this side. I don't feel any play on this side. But I definitely have play on this side. Hopefully I'm not having chunks of timing chain tensioner sitting in my oil pan. That would be bad. I would have to get the engine pulled up and drop the oil pan and clean out the pickup and clean all the chunks out. So hopefully I'm not at that point, but I already think, like, I'm no expert, but that's a lot of play in the chain. That shouldn't be there. This side is nice and tight. This side has no play in it at all. So maybe, hopefully that side's just worn out a little bit and I caught it before anything bad. Hopefully that side there is just a worn guide and not a broken guide. We're gonna find out when I pull that front cover off, but I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed and hope that I lucked out and I gotta say that I think I picked a perfect time to replace it, because you can't have play in the time machine like that. But that shouldn't be loose at all. It should be nice and tight. So I'm gonna get into it. Another thing I noticed is I was getting some seepage on the side of the valve covers. So I'm gonna go ahead and, while I have them off, I'm gonna pull all the bolts and grommets and all that stuff off and clean them up really good, and then I'm going to paint them. I'm gonna paint them Ford blue. I know you can buy them, but you know, for a little bit of elbow grease and some of my time and you know, a can or two of Ford blue, I can paint them up and make them look pretty good. I still got to clean off all the mating surfaces. You can see some dirt build up around there and everything, so I'm gonna get it set up so I can catch all that debris and clean all the mating surfaces up. I don't want any of that stuff getting in your engine. That'd be bad. Good note is this thing's due for an oil change anyway, so I've already got the oil and the filter. So the next step is I'm going to remove the tensioners for the timing chains, and then I can start removing all those old guides, and I'm replacing the phasers, the phaser gears on the cams, because I'm putting new cams in it too, and these are known to come loose anyways. So when you get a timing set for one of these cars, it comes with the cam gears too. But yeah, these are known to come loose on the old style, and I have a feeling that this car's never had timing chains done to it. And this engine was done, it looks like, February 22nd, 2006. If I'm reading that correctly, that's what it looks like to me. Which makes sense. This is an 06, so I'm just glad that there wasn't chunks of any of those guides where I was going to have to pull a pan and start digging stuff out. That's not the kind of thing you want to have to mess with. I definitely think that I'm catching this at the right time, because that's bad. I don't want to go through all this work of putting new cams in it and new intake and all that stuff, and then have it catastrophically fail on me, and then all that money you spent and all that work you did to it, it's for nothing. I don't have any place to set the camera, otherwise I'd set it up and work, but I'm literally, I have no place to go now. I took out the different radiator support brackets on the top that I was setting the bag on. I guess I could put one back and then set you up on there. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Now comes the fun part. Let's stand up for this. I'm trying to get it so it doesn't pop out in my face. Sure that one's in all. Just want some threads on it so when it pops, I don't lose it. Not that I'll be reusing it, but. There we go. I believe I get new bolts too. Keep them set aside just in case I don't, but I think I got bolts for them too. There we go. One down. I think this one just slides off here. I don't like the wear's terrible on it, but away it goes. I've already got this at top dead center. There's the right and the left, and my keyway's right here. Oops, dropped you guys. Apologize for the angle here. Trying to get you right. That's loose. It's nice not having the radiator in the way. Another one. Getting the wear's not bad. Well, at least you didn't fall in the bath of coolant. That would be a nice time to have one of those spinning handle ratchets where you can kind of zip it around. At least it's all in one piece. It's getting to be a bad habit. I think I'm just gonna shut you guys off and we'll catch up as soon as I get finished pulling all the timing stuff off.